All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Wahara Kakwadash, Yahweh being the name of the Father, and Yahweh Shai the name of his only begotten Son. Double honors to the apostles and the elders at Great Millstone rule well, and peace and blessing salutations to the hopefully elect of Israel. All right, this lesson, I'm going to go into the new covenant. All right, get some scriptures on that, and I'm just going to go from there, I guess. All right. So this is Hebrews chapter 8, verse 1. And we're going to read this whole chapter. It's not long at all. It says, "Now of the things which we have spoken, this is the sum. We have such an high priest who is set on the right hand of the throne of the majesty in the heavens, a minister of the sanctuary and of the true tabernacle which the Lord pitched and not man. For every high priest is ordained to offer gifts and sacrifices, wherefore it is of necessity that this man have somewhat also to offer. For if he were on earth, he should not be a priest, seeing that there are priests that offer gifts according to the law, who serve unto the example and shadow of heavenly things, as Moses was admonished of Yahweh when he was about to make the tabernacle. For see, saith he, that thou make all things according to the pattern shewed to thee in the mount. But now hath he obtained a more excellent ministry, by how much also he is the mediator of a better covenant, which was established upon better promises. For if that first covenant had been faultless, then should no place have been sought for the second. For finding fault with them, he saith, Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah." Because remember, the old covenant was for the Israelites only, and there's two. There's the old and the new covenant. This is what the new covenant is. This is what it's for. All right, this is who it's for, I should say. So let me start at verse 8. "For finding fault with them, he saith, Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah." So that's telling you right there who it's for. It's for the Israelites. Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day when I took them by the hand to lead them out of the land of Egypt, because they continued not in my covenant, and I regarded them not, saith the Lord. For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith the Lord. I will put my laws into their mind and write them in their hearts. And I will be to them a God, and they shall be to me a people. And they shall not teach every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, Know the Lord, for all shall know me, from the least to the greatest. For I will be merciful to their unrighteousness, and their sins and their iniquities will I remember no more. In that he saith, A new covenant he hath made the first old. Now that which decayeth and waxeth old is ready to vanish away. So the new covenant is Yahweh writing his laws in the Israelites' minds and hearts, basically, right? In other words, they're going to keep the laws and they're not going to go off anymore. All right, and that's going to be because of the new bodies that we're going to receive. Because this flesh is one of the major things that keeps us from that perfection, I guess you could call it, of keeping the laws completely, all right, 100%. So before I go on, because what this was quoting out of was Jeremiah 31. I'm going to get it in the physical copy of the Bible, just to read it. That also shows that Old and New Testament are both relevant, because there's prophecies in the Old Testament that still haven't even happened yet. All right, the whole book of Obadiah, the whole book of Obadiah, for example, has not happened yet. All right. So it says Jeremiah 31 and 31. "Behold, the days come, saith Yahweh, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which my covenant they break, although I was an husband unto them, saith Yahweh. But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith Yahweh. I will put my law in their inward parts and write it in their hearts, and will be their God, and they shall be my people." Right, so it's telling you the same thing, because that's where I'm not sure who wrote Hebrews. I think it was Apostle Paul. But if I'm wrong, once again, Baba Kasha, correct me. That's where he got this from, is Jeremiah 31. It's prophecy that has not happened yet. All right, the new covenant has not. We haven't fully entered into the new covenant. We're in a transition right now, because we're in the end of Esau and the beginning of Jacob, pursuant to. Let me just get it. 2nd Ezra 6:7 on down to 9, which was taken out of the Old Testament, written by the prophet Ezra, who was a prophet, a priest, and a scribe. All right, this is 2nd Ezra chapter 6, verse 7. Then answered I and said, what shall be the parting asunder of the times? Or when shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth? And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. All right, so we're in the end of Esau and the beginning of Jacob right now, all right, as I'm making this video. So it's important to understand that we're entering into the transition of the new covenant, okay? When it's really going to take place, because right now we can't keep the laws like that. We're still in captivity. Once the elect are delivered, which Yahweh Shai Ratazah, that we're of the elect, the 144,000, or if you're a sincere sister, that you're of the 1/3. All right, but they're going to receive new bodies, and those new bodies aren't going to sin. Because just as Yahweh Shai, I guess you could say, got the victory or defeated the flesh, that's what we're going to be able to do. Because the new bodies, we're not going to sin anymore. All right, and he said he's going to write the laws in our inward parts. So we're going to keep the laws, statutes, and commandments, which also proves that they're not done away with. All right, why would they be done away with now? But the new covenant, when our kingdom is set up, when Jacob's in rulership, we're going to keep the laws again. Right now, we still have to keep the laws to the best of our ability. For example, to name some of them, like the dietary laws. You can't commit adultery. Don't worship idols, obviously. Stuff like that. Don't if you're a woman, don't wear pants. A man, he has to, when he prophesies, he can't have his head covered. A woman has to have her head covered when she's praying and stuff like that. Some more. Well, the fringes, which we wear when we go out and teach, because the fringes was made to remind you to keep the commandments. They're supposed to be like a remembrance thing, because you'd look down and see it. And then, like I said, the dietary laws: no pork, no lobster, no shrimp, no crab, salakia. I mean, that's basically, etc. You get the point. Yeah. No, I mean, coveting, stealing, can't do that. So, but right now the thing is, we're under grace. Okay, and now people, they get it mixed up. They think because we're under grace, that means just sin as much as you want because you're covered. That's not what that means. That's not at all what that means. And I'm not laughing because, like in a comical way. I'm laughing because you are asking to be destroyed. You're literally asking to be destroyed. That is a terrible thing to do. I mean, Yahweh Shai, he died for the elect specifically, but the nation of Israel. And you're going to just take that for granted. Him dying, one of the worst ways you can die, and you're just going to keep sinning. That's not what he did it for. He didn't do it so you can keep sinning. He did it so you'll be covered when you accidentally go off, Like if you forget it's Sabbath and you cook. Or, if you're cooking something and you eat it and you look at the ingredients and you didn't realize there was pork. Something like that. That's where grace comes in. Or having to work on Sabbath because we're in captivity. That's where grace comes in. Grace is not something, well, I can just eat whatever I want because Yahweh Shai died. That's not how that works. And that's extremely disrespectful if you really think about it. All right, so anyways, let's finish reading Jeremiah 31 before we get too far off topic. This is verse... Well, I'll just read 32. Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which my covenant they break, although I wasn't husband unto them, saith Yahweh. But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith Yahweh, that I will Or there's no that. Salakia. After those days, saith Yahweh, I will put my law in their inward parts and write it in their hearts, and will be their God, and they shall be my people. And they shall teach no more every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, Know Yahweh, for they shall all know me, from the least of them unto the greatest of them. Saith Yahweh, for I will forgive their iniquity, and I'll remember their sin no more. And right now you see that we're clearly not in that time, and our kingdom clearly isn't set up because, well, obviously we're in captivity, but because we're teaching people about Yahweh, Yahushai. A lot of our people, we're trying to teach them the scriptures, and we understand they're not going to, a lot of them aren't going to get it because it's all about the elect. All right, it's all about the elect right now. So let me pull out on here. Well, let me just pull out an example first. Because people try to say, we're under grace so you can just sin and do whatever you want. Whenever Yahushua would heal somebody, he would tell them to go and sin no more. He wouldn't say go and don't sin until I die on the for the nation, get crucified, and then you can sin as much as you want. He never said that. So I don't know where you get that from. I have to find it because there's usually like a comma or something. All right, well, I'll just get this. This is, I'm pretty sure I've seen it several times, but I'll start at verse 1. This is very heavy. But before I read this, let me get scripture. I'm not going to read it yet, but I'm going to pull it in the physical copy. All right. So this is John chapter 8, verse 1. Yahushua went unto the Mount of Olives. And early in the morning he came again into the temple, and all the people came unto him, and he sat down and taught them. And the scribes and Pharisees brought unto him a woman taken in adultery, when they had set her in the midst. So basically, just because grace is making mistakes, making mistakes. Whether, demons get on you and you go off, or your flesh just, the point is a mistake. There's no, well, let me get this, well, I'm gonna, let me get this first. Hebrews 10:26. For if we sin willfully, after that we have received the knowledge of truth, there remaineth no more sacrifice for sins. Okay, it says sin willfully. So in other words, if you make a mistake, like I said, if you forget it's Sabbath and you're cooking and you realize, oh man, it's Sabbath, and then that's where grace comes in. Grace does not come in, oh, it's Sabbath, but I want to cook because I feel like it, because I want to eat a burger, so I'm going to put it on the grill anyways. No, that's not where grace comes in. That's not grace then. You're just sinning because you feel like it. You're just completely being rebellious. That's being a rebel. All right. And you're going to be destroyed for that. All right. And what this means is once you understand that the laws aren't done away with, you have to repent. You have to keep them. You have to stop eating pork. You have to, keep the Sabbath. You have to, don't commit adultery. And now if you do these things willfully, then like it said, there's no more sacrifice for sins, because Yahushua was that sacrifice to give us grace. That's why it says willfully. It doesn't just say sin. It says willfully, because we sin because we're in this flesh. All right. But that's why it says willfully. Like I said, if you're like, well, I like bacon, so I'm going to eat it because I feel like it. Even though it says not to, I'm going to. No, that's not grace then. That's not where grace falls down. All right. Grace does not fall, that doesn't fall under grace. So, well, plus I can get that Romans 3:23. For all have sinned and come short of the glory of Yahweh. All right, so we all sin. We understand that. So now let's go back to John 8. John 8:3, and the scribes and Pharisees brought unto him a woman taken in adultery. And when they had set her in the midst, they say unto him, Master, this woman was taken in adultery in the very act. Now Moses in the law commanded us that such should be stoned, but what sayest thou? This they said, tempting him, that they might have to accuse him. But Yahushua stooped down, and with his finger wrote on the ground, as though he heard them not. So when they continued asking him, he lifted up himself and said unto them, He that is without sin among you, let him first cast a stone at her. And again he stooped down and wrote on the ground, and they which heard it, being convicted by their own conscience, went out one by one, beginning at the eldest, even unto the last. And Yahushua was left alone, and the woman standing in the midst. When Yahushua had lifted up himself and saw none but the woman, he said unto her, Woman, where are those thine accusers? Hath no man condemned thee? She said, No man, Lord. And Yahushua said unto her, Neither do I condemn thee. Go and sin no more. Go and sin no more. So, in other words, don't commit adultery again. Don't do it. You made a mistake, and she probably knew she made a mistake. She's probably praying for forgiveness. She had shame. She had major guilt. That's what I would assume. So he knew that, because Yahushua, he's the second best. Yahweh is the greatest, and Yahushua is the second greatest, is how I put it. So Yahushua knew, man. He knew how she felt, and that's why she said, that's why he said to her, because she just said, no man condemned her, but he said, Yahushua said, Neither do I condemn thee. Go and sin no more. He didn't tell her to go and commit adultery again, or wait until I get crucified, then go sin. No, he said, Go and sin no more. Because in other words, you're forgiven, but now don't do it again. All right, you slipped up, you made a mistake, don't do it again. All right? Now, because in this flesh we make mistakes, but willful sin, by willful sin it means, like I said, if you liked bacon in the world and you can't eat in this truth, but you're like, well, I want to eat it anyways because it tastes good. That's not, you don't fall under grace then. That's just, you're going to be destroyed for that. All right? So let me get this. 1 John 3 and 4. Whosoever committeth sin transgresseth also the law, for sin is the transgression of the law. Okay, so eating pork is a sin. Okay? Now, if you were eating pork, which I'm sure you have, in the world, I eat pork. But now when I came in, I stopped eating it. You see? But now if I were to just get up and say, well, I want to eat this pork chop just because, even though I know that it's pork, then I wouldn't fall under grace. I'd be destroyed. And it doesn't mean you're going to be destroyed right on the spot, but you don't test something like that. You're going to be destroyed, all right? Because Yahweh is reserving a lot of people to be destroyed. That's what the scriptures say. In fact, I'll get it. Better to get it than to paraphrase anyways. Oh. Here we go. This is 2 Peter 2 and 9. The Lord knoweth how to deliver the godly out of temptations, and to reserve the unjust unto the day of judgment to be punished. All right, so one of your family members or a friend that was in the world that's completely wicked, he may survive a car crash or getting shot or something. Still doesn't mean he's just. It just means he's being reserved to be judged. He's being, I don't even want to necessarily say protected. He's just being kept alive until that day. Probably the missiles, either a famine or the missiles. A lot of people are going to die in those missiles. A lot of people are being saved just to get hit with a missile. All right? But Yahweh is justified in all his works. He's righteous, and so is Yahushua. All right, so, but once again, we understand Yahweh is above Yahushua, because a lot of people try to say that we, because these Old Testament only Israelites that don't understand the scriptures, they try to say that we're putting Yahushua on the same level. No, we're not. We know that Yahweh is above Yahushua. We understand that, and we teach that. So you got it all mixed up. But let's get a couple more scripts, I guess, if we can find something to get real quick. I mean, that's what the new covenant is, all right? It's putting the laws in our inward parts and being changed. So I can get that being changed in the twinkling of an eye. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 50. Now, this I say, brethren, that flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of Yahweh, neither doth corruption inherit incorruption. Behold, I shew you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed. In a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trump. For the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. For this corruptible must put on incorruption, and this mortal must put on immortality. Okay? And once we're changed, those laws are going to be written in us, meaning we're going to know the laws and we're going to be able to keep them. Okay? Because this flesh is weak, as Yahushua said. And it's very true unto this day, especially unto this day. You know, back then their bodies were better, but now we're really broken down, man. You know? And there's so much demonic things going on and everything, you know. All right, this is Matthew 26:41. Watch and pray that ye enter not into temptation. And that's heavy too, because this is going into sin, but also pray that you don't enter into a temptation of that chip when it's mandatory, man. Which that really would be a sin too, but that's probably, honestly, getting that microchip implant in your body is if not the worst, it's definitely up there on the list as one of the worst things you can ever do in your existence, is getting that. So refuse it, even if it means unto death, right? And Yahweh Shai willing that if we have to die, that we can endure in general. But, you know, those martyrs, the brothers and sisters that have to be martyrs, you know, Yahweh Shai willing, and even if it's me, you know, even if it isn't me or is me or whoever the martyrs are, Yahweh Shai willing that it's a swift, quick death, man. You know, that Yahweh has mercy upon us. So it says, Matthew 26:41, watch and pray that ye enter not into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. So that's why it's also important that Yahweh is going to judge off the spirit. All right, not the flesh, but off the spirit. I think it's in 1 Samuel 16:7. But Yahweh said unto Samuel, look not on his countenance or on the height of his stature, because I have refused him. For Yahweh seeth not as man seeth. For man looketh on the outward appearance, but Yahweh looketh on the heart. All right, now that's heavy. I mean, the whole Bible is heavy, you know, the Holy Scriptures, but that really hits hard, man. So now I'm going to go to Ezekiel. I think it's 37. I'm going to start verse 21. And say unto them, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, I will take the children of Israel from among the heathen whither they be gone, and will gather them on every side, and bring them into their own land. And I will make them one nation in the land of Slovakia. And I will make them one nation in the land upon the mountains of Israel, and one king shall be king to them all, and they shall be no more two nations, neither shall they be divided into two kingdoms any more at all. Neither shall they defile themselves any more with their idols, nor with their detestable things, nor with any of their transgressions. But I will save them out of all their dwelling places wherein they have sinned, and will cleanse them. So shall they be my people, and I will be their God. And David my servant shall be king over them. And they all shall have one shepherd. They shall also walk in my judgments, and observe my statutes, and do them. And they shall dwell in the land that I have given unto Jacob my servant, wherein your fathers have dwelt. And they shall dwell therein, even they and their children's children forever. And my servant David shall be their prince forever. Moreover, I will make a covenant of peace with them. It shall be an everlasting covenant with them. And I will place them and multiply them, and will set them, and will set my sanctuary in the midst of them forevermore. I'm just going to finish the chapter. My tabernacle also shall be with them. Yea, I will be their God, and they shall be my people. And the heathen shall know that I, Yahweh, do sanctify Israel, which I don't know why I don't have this saved, Salakia. And the heathen shall know that I, Yahweh, do sanctify Israel, when my sanctuary shall be in the midst of them forevermore. All right, so straightforward. All right, it's all about the nation of Israel, specifically the elect. All right, so Lord willing, this is edifying to the elect, and that it condemns those that need to be condemned, because there's a lot of people that need to be condemned. All right, and if you're not with us, you're against us, and you're an enemy, and you're going to be treated as such. So, with that said, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Wahara Kakwadash, dub honors to the apostles and the elders, great millstone to roll well. Peace and blessing salutations to the hopeful elect of Israel. Shalom.